What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hour Back Report, episode 7, home of the 10-8 Boston Celtics, starting to get some wiggle room between that 500 line. Nice to see. I'm Jordan, joined by Jamie and Jack. We got our full crew back ahead of this Thanksgiving episode. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you and to you two as well. How are we doing tonight?
That was a little close there for a couple seconds, a little intense, but Cunningham forgot how to make free throws, so we'll take it up.
Got a little dicey for sure. Jack, how you doing, man?
Doing good, Hey, we're recording. They won. That tends to be how things happen, so I'm good with that.
That is true. They don't lose on Wednesdays. I think I did say that when Jamie and I recorded in your absence that they were going to go 2-1 during this stretch. I don't think I had them losing to the Nets though. That's unfortunate. I'm not the oracle there, but I did have them beating the Pistons and snapping their eventual 13 game winning streak. But shall we gloss over this Nets game and pretend that it didn't happen while acknowledging that they lost?
I support it.
I was at Wicked for most of it. Which was about as equal not great experience as losing to the Nets.
I was gonna say, do we want to instead of talking about the game, do you want to give your review of Wicked?
I mean, it wasn't. The first one was really good. This one wasn't though, because Act 2 of Wicked is bad. But when it's 45 minutes, you can deal with it. When it's stretched out to 2.5 hours, oh my god, too much of Act 2 of Wicked, because it's not good. Only the first half of Wicked is good.
I'm not much of a musical buff, but musicals are written in, so I know that there's plays typically are written in 3 acts, and then musicals are 2, and then they put basically all of it in all of the action in the first act, and then the second act is usually kind of full of filler and it's not great. That's what I heard from most. That's what I heard from most people that I've talked to that have seen it. I haven't seen the first one yet because, like I said, I'm not much of a musical person. But
the cast is good, but it's the structure of it's the fault of trying to make it 2 movies. It should have just been 1 movie,
even if it was 4 hours long.
Well, you could have probably cut an hour out of this movie and then half an hour out of the first one. So then it probably would have been 3 hours or a little over 3, which is workable. If Killers of the Flower Moon exists, you can do it.
Would that have taken away some of the allure of it being a musical turned into a movie, of it being you don't have your intermission? It's just one big movie. That's an honest question.
No. I just normalize movies having intermissions is honestly my take. Put them in because it's good. I'm excited because in a couple weeks, Kill Bill is coming to theaters again as 1 movie, the way Tarantino intended, and it's going to have an intermission, and it's going to be 4.5 hours with the intermission. I'm I can't wait. I'm so excited to see Kill Bill in theaters on this Celtics podcast.
So you would not recommend? That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, unless you really like Wicked, I wouldn't, or wait for Peacock.
Yeah, because it is on Peacock. The first one is.
Yeah.
Maybe give it a whirl, and if you find yourself in love with it, then go watch the Act 2 in theaters.
You probably will like the first one because the first one's good. So just lower your expectations on part 2.
All right, fair enough. You heard it here first. Probably not first, because I'm people have been giving this review, I feel for Wicked for the duration of the time it's been in theaters, but.
I'd way rather talk about that than Michael Porter Jr. So
yeah, that's more than fair. That dude, oh my god, he doesn't swing the rock, but god damn it, can that man shoot the lights out every once in a while. He's good, sadly, and the Celtics just couldn't guard the same exact play over and over again. I felt like I was watching somebody play Madden franchise where they just run drags the entire game and they pick up 10 plus yards. I say as somebody who religiously runs drags when I play Madden. He just kept
guy.
Yeah, big fan of those, and You get somebody with like 95 speed in the slot and put him on a drag route, or you have like David Njoku as your tight end. It's just easy 8+ yards of play. It breaks the game. That was Michael Porter Jr. The other night for 33 points on 13 of 21 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3. Noah Clowney killed the Celtics too. And
Future Celtic Nick Claxton with a double-double.
he's been, if he was good at making easy layups, he'd be an all NBA guy, I feel like.
That's just where he draws the line.
Yeah, he's just like, it's like Kevin Martin. Y'all ever hear the stories about how Kevin Martin would be like, damn, I got too many points. He'd have like 19 in the first half. So he'd finish with like 24. So he doesn't become an all-star. That's Nick Claxton. It's like, I have too many points. But it's not like gambling, point shaving. It's just like, I want my all-star break. So I'm just going to get 18 and 12.
I mean, you gotta respect the dedication with that.
Definitely. And on the Celtic side of things, Queta had 16 and 12. Derrick White, another absolute disaster class from him. He had 6 points on 2 of 13 shooting. Jaylen Brown was good again with 26 on 9 of 18. Pritchard was okay. Jordan Walsh, I think, with a season high 9 points. And the main positive for me was Anthony Simons finally looked like a legitimate part of the offense. He went 10 of 16 for 23 points, played 33 minutes, kind of got into every asset of the game, had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, a couple steals. So finally a good Anthony Simons game. And that's on the heels of him. Well, not the game before that he played, but the game before that first Nets game, he played like 9 minutes. So nice to see him respond and start playing a little bit better.
Yeah, that was probably my big takeaway from that game. I felt like they struggled in the second and third, especially allowing 40. And I feel like Simons was one of like the few bright spots. And kind of White. I know you talked about it, but that was very rough showing from him.
Yeah, I think I don't even think I really noticed how bad he'd played in that game because I just felt like all my angst was going to Michael Porter Jr. spraying threes off of the same play every single time down the court. But yeah, Derrick, I was a little hashtag worried after that game for sure. He's really not had a sustained run of success, but we'll get into him a little bit more as we progress. But yeah, after improving to 8 and 7 to lose to the Nets in that fashion on your home floor, pretty embarrassing, to say the least.
Yeah.
We have any last thoughts on that game? 'Cause I know that Wicked was definitely a better experience than Celtics Nets. Perfect. This was a much more fun game 2 to talk about. At least the first half was. I know that it got a little dicey towards the end, with the Magic scoring 40 in the fourth and 32 in the second to cut it to 9 ultimately. But that was a fun game. Game 2 of this little 3-gamer in between episodes. Jack, what are some of your takeaways from this Magic game?
I think, the big one is obviously you have Queta go down in this game, and the fact that for most of the season, Queta has been your one functioning big man, and the fact that you were able to beat a good team, which even with Banchero out, like Orlando is still a competitive team, and you were able to win that game, and you were at home, and I understand, it's not beating the 86 Celtics without Queta, but you still went out and you did what you had to do to get that win. And Simons was, again, part of the offense and was scoring super efficiently. And Jaylen kind of took over for it, which you've needed all season and he's provided all season. But yeah, I think the fact that you got by without Queta was massive. And obviously that circles into tonight's game where you also get by without Queta and obviously Williams becoming part of the team, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, I mean, if you told me Queta is going to play 6 minutes against Orlando, do you win that game? I'd say probably not, and they did.
No, they beat the brakes off of them too. Like in the first half, it was 80 to 57. Like, scored 48 points in the second quarter.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Minot also kind of rebounded. Well, in the literal sense, he had 7 of them off the bench, but he also had 16 points on 7 of 8 shooting. He was a firecracker. Hit a bunch of threes. Well, hit 2 threes, but he was 2 of 3. He hit all of them in the second quarter. He was kind of the catalyst for that separation that they got in the second quarter. He tied Peyton Pritchard for the team high in plus minus of plus 15. Nice for the guy whose jersey I rep, to have a big showing. And yeah, that's a nice response win. And I think also didn't bring it up, but Jaylen Brown kind of called the Celtics himself out, not just the team, for not showing up against Brooklyn. And I would say that message received, and they responded quite well in this game against Orlando.
He ends in a game with no Queta once he went out. Luka Garza DNP coach's decision, which we've been riding the highs and lows of Luka Garza this season, and I think that's incredibly telling. That in a game where the guy who is, Queta's your starting center for most of the season, Garza's been the backup. Queta goes down, Garza doesn't even get in. And I understand there's matchup stuff, all that, but it's telling.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of Luka Garza. I don't even think Joe knows what to think of Luka Garza, because then tonight he started.
Right.
But barely played.
Yeah. And I think, we'll talk about it more when we get into today's game. They were kind of hoping that Williams would show something and allow them to pivot towards him. And they did the small ball stuff with Scheierman near the end. And, both of those at least give you an athleticism boost over Garza, because I think any one of us might be comparable in terms of an athletic thing to Garza. So, yeah, I mean, they've wanted to play up tempo this season, and that's been a thing. And Luka Garza cannot run and cannot jump, and that's a hindrance to a team that wants to go up tempo.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Jamie, what are some of your takeaways from this Orlando game?
I think the bench looked really good. I mean, Hauser looked good with 16. With 14, Minot had 16. Simons had 23. I think it was good to see the bench, kind of everyone contributed. I know Scheierman only had 3, but only took 2 shots. So going 1 for 2 is not bad, but it was good to see the bench, especially in a night when Queta wasn't really playing, and he needed someone to step up. It was good to see those 3 bench guys all have decent games.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to see Baylor Scheierman turn into like a functioning NBA player. So congratulations, Jack. You've cooked once again. Because he's actually, I feel like he and Walsh are in some ways producing in the same way. Like sometimes they score a little bit, but they kind of do everything, and their activity is kind of really what makes the impact on the floor. Although we'll get into it when we talk more about this Pistons game, which was the game of the season, I think, so far for the Celtics, not just in terms of it being close pretty much the entire way, and then obviously the end result and it being at home and, this, that, and the third. But against it feels like Baylor's starting to assert himself a little bit more, and he's starting to get a little bit of his white boy swag. Was this the game that he blew the kiss to the bench? When he hit a 3, his only made shot of the entire game, and he's blown a kiss to the bench. Like, this dude's a psychopath. And it's nice to see him playing well. And it's starting, like, maybe Brad Stevens knows how to draft, because Walsh has become, a mainstay in the lineup, at least, for the last couple weeks. And he's played well, even if it doesn't look the same every single time out. And then Baylor's starting to kind of not suck, which is great. And then they obviously got Williams involved tonight. Ugo's getting involved a little bit more, although his shot, haven't really seen it a lot, so not hard to kind of judge his shooting, because hard to isolate one shot every single game and be like, oh, his percentages are this. It's like, you try and go 1 for 1 every single game. It's not easy to do. But yeah, really, really nice to see them, kind of run away and hide, even if it got a little dicey in the second half.
Yeah. I feel like you needed that too after how disappointing the Brooklyn game was. Like, you needed to drop 140 and kind of come out and dominate a little bit.
Yeah, and would have been nice to see them finish stronger than they did, but an 80-point first half, kind of hard to lose a game when you do that. 80 points in either half, very hard to lose a game when you do that. Nice to see their offense explode without Tatum, because we got used to seeing that in years past with JT, because he'd light up for 32 and a half and, put a game to bed. But doing so without him is impressive.
Yeah. And don't let Hauser get hot. 4 of 7 from 3. He's heating up a little bit over there.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Jack, it looked like you had something to say.
Yeah. Well, I was also just gonna say, for Orlando note, I completely forgot Jet Howard was an NBA player, and then he just kept scoring all game, and I was like, "What? Why is Jet Howard the best scoring guard in the NBA?" Because I remember him a little bit at Michigan, he was good, but I completely forgot he was an NBA player, and then he was hitting every shot he took against us, and it was a little infuriating.
Yeah, and they kept Franz in check too, because he only took 10 shots the entire game. Yeah, Jet Howard was 11 for 23, 5 of 13 from deep. That's ridiculous. Off the bench with a nice little 30 piece. It makes me very happy when Franz Wagner does terrible against the Celtics. I don't know, there's just something about him that pisses me off. Or maybe I'm just conflating my opinion of Mo Wagner with Franz, but I don't
Celtics
know.
legend.
Celtics legend Mo Wagner. But I don't know. There's just something about Franz that makes me really mad. And I don't think it was that playoff. I don't think it was the playoff series last year, because I felt like all my anger was to Goga and Cole Anthony. Why do I hate Franz Wagner all of a sudden? Also, Goga was a DNP, coach's decision. So, or no, he left ankle injury. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong player. But yeah.
I've been seeing some, just while we're playing Orlando, I've been seeing some Jonathan Isaac might be a Celtic smoke, and I no thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, he's hurt constantly, and he doesn't really, I know basketball is positionless, but he doesn't really fit anywhere really, because he's kind of too small to be a big, because he's thin also. And he's good defensively, but he can't do anything offensively. But he's under contract for, I think, 3 more years after this one. But I saw that on Twitter today that Jonathan Isaac could be a trade target, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm all set there.
But why? And what would the Celtics give up to get him?
I don't even know, because his salary, I want to say, is around a 15 million AAV.
So it'd be Hauser territory, or no, I'm good. I'm good with Sam. I'll deal with him being horrible all year if I have to, because I know that eventually he's going to go on that run where he can't miss from 3 for about 3 weeks. And if it's in the playoffs, even better, because Tatum will be back. So
yeah, Isaac
Cinderella their way to this.
3 years remaining after this one, and it's a 15 million AAV, and it's I'm good there. No thanks.
And he was basically a DNP for this one. He played 5 minutes and was a -9. So, and he played he was playing when Josh Minot decided he wanted to be prime LeBron, and dropped 16 in the span of 5 minutes, and put the game away in the first half. Yeah, no, I'm good on Jonathan Isaac. I thought that maybe I was getting a little carried away when I said Claxton, but if people are suggesting Jonathan Isaac, I'm going to get on top of a mountain and start screaming Nick Claxton's name, because please no smoke on Jonathan Isaac. I'm good there.
Well, you're doing good on the predictions,
I have been on a heater with that. What is up with that? Do I know ball? Is that it?
I just thought we had to work baseball into it somehow, and that felt like the perfect.
Yeah, it is a good way. And I don't know if Jack wants to share the Utah Mammoth stat that I gave him before.
No, I mean, you saw it first, so I feel like you have to be the one to inform the masses.
Yeah, shout out Logan Cooley for the first 4-goal game in Utah Mammoth history. We got to find a way to bring them up again later on to make up the fact we did not bring them up last week in Jack's absence. So sorry for not doing our part, Utah.
Tusky is disappointed in you all.
He's pissed. But
Celtics won by 9. The whole last episode waiting for the mention, and it didn't happen.
Could you imagine, just all of a sudden our audience is just predominantly Utah, and it's Danny Ainge and Tusky. That's it.
That's our first two guest combo right there.
Tusky and Danny Ainge on a joint guest pod. Oh my god, that'd be fantastic.
It's like us all at the very crowded ESPN Get Up table.
Yeah, we're all just sitting at my desk, just talking about the Jazz and the Mammoth and not the Celtics at all. Just not once. But yeah, Celtics win by 9, improve to 9-8, get back over 500 for the second time in 2025-26, which brings us to the game of the week. This one against the Pistons that just wrapped up last night for those of you listening, which, by the way, if you're listening to us during or before Thanksgiving dinner or instead of Thanksgiving dinner, you're a sicko and I love you with all my heart. I will save you a plate at my Thanksgiving table. So I appreciate it. But yeah, Celtics take on the Pistons, who'd won 13 straight, including a game against the Celtics where they absolutely beat the daylights out of them in Detroit. Although actually maybe that wasn't during this winning streak, but they did beat the crap out of the Celtics earlier in the season. No Queta, dealing with an ankle sprain. So Luka Garza gets the start, but plays 11 minutes because he's Luka Garza. And him starting against Jalen Duren was like hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. So good luck. Good luck there. No offense, Luka Garza. You've had a few good games. But yeah, I mean, Jamie, what are some of your thoughts on this game?
I liked how, like, towards the end, they kind of fought back or they didn't crumble, because that game very easily could have been like a 1-point loss, I feel like, or a 2-point loss. So, like, Cunningham missing a free throw does help that cause, and it's probably one he's going to regret for months, but it was good to see him kind of stay strong. Scheierman with 13. He was probably, I feel like, the best player other than Simons off the bench. The only one with more than 9 points other than Minot, but it was good to see him kind of have a big game, especially on a night when you kind of needed that. It was just good to see them not crumble against a very good Pistons team that could have, I feel like the last 5 minutes that could have gone either way.
Yeah, they showed me something. I mean, the guy that I really want to highlight in this one, and I gave him grief for how he did against the Nets, but Derrick White had, I think, 4 points in the first half and was horrid. And he finished with 27, was 6 of 11 from 3 and 7 of 7 from the line. Like, this might be the start of the Derrick White kind of explosion where we look back at the beginning of the season and we kind of laugh at how horrible he was. And we're like, haha, wow, Derrick White's averaging 23 points and shooting 40% from 3 magically in like 3 weeks. But he was fantastic tonight. Other than Scheierman, had the second best plus minus on the team. Jalen was very inefficient, but he did get his 33 points and 10 rebounds and 5 assists and 2 steals and 2 blocks. So I've given Jalen his grief throughout the season for scoring very efficiently but not doing anything else. Today he scored very inefficiently, but also did everything else, including turn the ball over. But that's beside the point. I got to humble him a little bit, keep him in line. But he did his job. I think he had 17, I think, in the second quarter, or like 14 in the second quarter, and then he made some big plays down the stretch as well. But it was the Derrick White show in the fourth quarter, and that is what good Celtics teams have been. Derrick White showing out in the fourth quarter. Jack, what are some of your thoughts on this game?
Well, first off, the Detroit Pistons roster is designed to give me a stroke at the end of a close game when I see Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert there. I'm like, it's like seeing all like the demons of the past. All I need is Chris Middleton and I'll faint. Because holy shit, have both LeVert and Duncan Robinson had some insane Celtic killer moments. And yeah, I want no part of either of those guys in crunch time. Please let Tobias Harris shoot as much as he wants, even though he made that one big 3 at the end. But yeah, I mean, they shot really well tonight, which when you're playing Missoula ball, sometimes you're going to shoot really well and sometimes you're not. And they needed to, because you're playing Detroit, who's one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference at the moment. So if those shots weren't falling, you were probably going to get ran off the court. But luckily, it was a big game for Derrick White, a huge moment for him because he's going to need to. Scheierman played a lot, and they kind of played without a big for most of the fourth quarter, and it was kind of Scheierman and Walsh doing most of the stuff down low, and they're both obviously, neither of them is even like power forward sized. Like I think they're both around like, I think Scheierman's like 6'5" and Walsh is 6'6" or something like that. So the fact that you didn't get killed by a team that has Jalen Duren, who is a very good big, without anyone who somewhat resembles one, works for me. And it's a huge win. And hopefully they can parlay this into a little run coming out of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they basically were like, we'll concede offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. And they went super small. And like, I didn't even notice it for the first couple of minutes of that, like uber small lineup with Walsh and Scheierman playing the 4 and 5. Until like 2 minutes left. And I'm like, there isn't a big on the floor. And then like there's Luka Garza sitting with his great posture and his t-shirt on, looking all handsome, but not playing basketball. But they were scrappy tonight, and they had the 3 guys had at least 2 steals tonight. Derrick White led the team with 3. They had multiple guys get 2 blocks. Jaylen Brown and Amari Williams, who I know was a -10, but I thought he didn't look that bad. He didn't look like he was kind of phased in his, first real run of legitimate NBA like playing time. I wouldn't say he was good, but he I didn't watch him play and come away from it thinking this guy stinks, and he
At least he can
clearly
move.
like he
Which,
moves. He
yeah,
puts in that third effort. He had a couple of blocks. He had a really nice block in the second quarter.
the big man depth chart is shallow behind Queta. Like if you can move and you can jump and you try, there's an opportunity for you. So
yeah, the question that comes out of this is like, is he going to stick around for a little bit? I mean, if Queta's day to day, Missoula said so before the game. But if he's out again next game or the game after that, like, are we going to see 15 plus minutes of Amari Williams? Is he going to start, dare I say, a basketball game in the Big 2-5 that's not like, that late April game where like RJ Hunter drops 35, comes out of retirement and scores 35 for the Celtics in April?
Yeah, I mean, you look at their next 2 games, you're playing against quality bigs when you have to go to Minnesota and to Cleveland. So I doubt the ultra small lineup is going to be a full send in either of those games, especially like if they're running Julius Randle and Gobert minutes in Minnesota. It's like, I don't know if you can get by with a Scheierman Walsh thing against that. So,
why not? Probably.
Yeah. So if Cade is not there, like, yeah, I could totally see Williams factoring into these upcoming games.
Yeah, and then especially against Cleveland, I feel like, because I don't know, I feel like you need somebody that can, like, if Rudy Gobert beats you with 30, like whatever, like tip your cap if they're willing to not get bored and just let him dunk 15 times, like. Julius Randle is going to get bored and start bombing away from distance. So like maybe you can get away with not playing Amari so much, or I mean, Garza should be able to like function against Gobert, don't you think? Because Rudy doesn't move either. He's athletic and he's like bigger than Garza, but like that's probably the kind of big that Garza can like at least match up with a bit. Yeah. Although Kevin Love gave him the work, so I don't know. I don't know.
That's how you know it's bad.
So yeah, I don't.
The Kevin Love matchup hunting was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a live sports game.
That was the most nefarious act I've ever seen in a game that I've attended in my life, in any sport, other than Joey Sly's 60+ yard game winning field goal attempt. That was ridiculous, and it almost went through. So there's your football mention.
True.
And it wasn't even Drake May. Now it was, but it wasn't.
Or Will Campbell.
Or Will Campbell.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But we'll be back.
He's gonna have some free time, so maybe we can book him.
Yeah, maybe. He was at the game that Jack and I attended, as was Drake May, but I think the guy on IR might be a little bit more willing and able as well.
We can do Danny and the Mammoth 1 week, and then right after that we can do Will Campbell. That'll get us to Christmas right there.
Yeah. How about Will Campbell on Christmas?
So yeah, he's probably not doing anything that morning.
Yeah, no, he's still recovering. He's still recovering. He's probably playing Madden. You just
It would
opened
be
up-
a really good bit if like this pod just got like insane guests like less than 10 episodes in, while Pesky is like, obviously we've had some good ones, but like, you know,
we haven't had any like MLB players, or we haven't any
Yeah,
MLB
okay.
players yet.
Right.
Get Dylan Cease before New Year's.
I could get Toronto Blue Jays legend Dylan Cease on the Red Sox pod. You know, who knows? Haven't gotten any coaches at the major league level, but we booked Danny Ainge on this
and Tusky.
and Tusky, which is arguably bigger. And then Will Campbell. And then
And the
also
mystery
because
guest via email correspondence is
Right.
still, you know, potentially in play.
yeah, you never know at this point. Like it's could you imagine though? I would sell out for sure if that was like an actual option. I feel like I'd have to.
Yeah.
I'd have to. That'd be so huge for us. Are you kidding me?
Just casually tease that too. Just be like, yeah, guys, we might have some guests later tonight.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, anyway, back to the game that just happened that we were supposed to talk about. Yeah, Celtics getting to 10-8. So nice little 2 games above 500, little buffer here. It's just nice to see them win a close game against a good team. Like they kind of faked their way into a couple clutch wins by like letting the Nets hang around with them in Brooklyn. Like, I mean, I guess it ended up being, a worthwhile matchup because you let them hang around with you in Boston, then they beat you. But they face the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Like this isn't like the 5 seed Pistons. This isn't last year's Pistons team where it would have been an impressive win, but like, oh, it's the Pistons. Like there's still that kind of stigma around them. Like they have earned a reputation of being the best team in the Eastern Conference, and you beat them on your home floor. And again, without Jason Tatum, I know that that's a theme because he's out for at least the next couple of months, but that's a big win. And like that's the kind of win that can really galvanize this group, especially since they're very inexperienced as a whole. Like they'll be stupid enough to rattle off like 7 of 10, and you find you go 7-3 in your next 10 games, and you'll fuck around and be like the 5 seed, and that's hilarious because people were screaming tank after starting 0-3.
The guard looked like it was rocking too in those last couple of minutes. It's good to see the energy there too.
Yeah, and Missoula, I guess that was like the first thing he kind of said in his press conference. I just saw the quote a second ago. Let me see if I can get it. But yeah, I want to thank the Garden for that. They appreciate great basketball.
And I think he's right in calling it great basketball. Like this was a good game. Obviously, all the flaws that the Celtics have of like not being able to rebound definitely reared its ugly head in this one. But like, again, it almost felt intentional in the fourth quarter. Like Jordan Walsh and Baylor Scheierman are just going to let Jalen Duren grab the rebound and then slap the ever-loving shit out of the basketball and try and knock it away. And it worked. Like, I mean, Baylor fouled out, but like, you're a bench player, dude. I don't give a shit if you foul 6 times. Like, you score 13 points, get how many boards? I was looking at the Pistons stat line. He had 13, 3, and 1. 13, 3, and 1, and 6 fouls, but was a +8. Like, that method clearly worked. And it can't work for everybody. Like, obviously, some guys have to not foul 6 times. But, like, if you're a bench player, like, who cares? Foul 6 times. I don't care.
But I feel like, too, it's like if they want to hang around to be a playoff team until Tatum's back, you need to win, like, these close games against those top teams in the East.
Yeah, especially if you're going to throw games to the Nets. Like, you need to win some games that you probably shouldn't, and that would be this one. And if they are able to like split these next 2 with Cleveland and Minnesota, like that's kind of how they'll make themselves a formidable team in the East without Tatum. You gotta win some of these games that you really shouldn't. And yeah, like plain and simple. But how do we kind of feel about where they're at though through 18 games and what the season's? I can't do math. Don't make me do math. It's like 20% over. About almost. 20% would be no. It's 20% of the way through. Hand up. How do we feel about where they sit so far?
I feel good. I mean, I feel like with how bad the Brooklyn game went, it was good to see them, beat the Magic like they did, and then win a close one at the Garden against, like we said, one of the best teams of the conference. I feel like that was big, especially when you're going to a stretch when you're on the road against Minnesota, you're on the road against Cleveland, to kind of have that stinker, but then come back with two strong wins.
Yeah, and at the 8 seed right now. So, funnily enough, you know how the Bulls were like the 3 seed after a couple of weeks? They're the 9. They're the 9 seed. They're almost in their rightful place. You're muted, Jack.
The Raptors are on a heater right now. Like, they're playing great basketball.
Yeah, they lead the Eastern Conference in point differential right now. They've won 8 straight, 9-1 in their last 10. Yeah, what's going on over there? Why are they going crazy? Isn't Scotty Barnes like having a crazy good year?
He's been good. Brandon Ingram's been good. And I think like the weird thing with Toronto is they have a lot of guys who have been like number one options previously, like with Ingram, Barnes, RJ Barrett. They're all kind of used to getting their shots, and they're still managing to on the whole, but like they're buying into whatever's going on, and the results have been good for them. Like I didn't have many expectations for Toronto coming into the year, but they look like a team that could like make the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, and right now they're the 2 seed. They're 2 games behind the Pistons now for the 1 seed with some help from the Celtics. It's crazy how, like, again, as mediocre as the Celtics have been, they're still 7-3 in their last 10, but they're 3 games back of the 2 seed as the 8 seed. Like, they're literally like 2 good weeks away from reasserting themselves as a power of the Eastern Conference, which is like, ooh, Eastern Conference. But like that was kind of the point when we entered the season. Like, we knew that this conference sucked. They were not going to be bad enough to be an AJ DeMonsta dialogue, unfortunately. They'll just trade for him in 4 years. It's fine.
We should have gotten the Pelicans pick.
For
Since they were giving that away. Like, we should have tried to get in on that.
Well, that would have been Derrick, though, right?
Yeah, probably. But like, God, what a terribly run organization. And I know we say that about like every team in the league, but like,
well, like, it's fair. Like, it's not like we just say that about, like, I don't know. We're not just saying that about like the Thunder, like, because that'd be stupid. But like we accurately assess teams that are poorly run.
Yeah. When was the last time the Pelicans were in the playoffs?
What, 4 years ago? I know they made the playoffs 1 year with Zion. They had it was like the last year Lonzo Ball was like remotely healthy before going to the Bulls, I think. They had Zoe, Ingram, Zion. They took the Suns, I think, to 6 games. And they gave the Suns a run for their money that year, but that's it. And like they were horrible under Willie Green, and
they somehow made it as the 8th seed like 2 years ago.
Oh, that might be
and they got swept by Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I buy that. They're 3-15.
That's tough.
They are atrocious. They are so bad. And yeah, Willie Green no longer employed. So RIP to Willie Green. Well, his basketball coaching career, at least for now. But they aren't the worst team in the NBA because the Pacers and the Wizards are still 2-15. Are still 2-15. So
Indiana,
there's a buffer there.
Indiana getting like a top 3 pick and Halliburton back. That would be some scary shit.
It would be. The NBA cannot let that happen. Adam Silver will not let that happen.
But he should is the thing, because you look at the other teams near the top of the lottery and wow, are they bad? Besides Atlanta, I guess. Atlanta's a team that like is fine to let have a really good player, but like you do not want to let Washington or Brooklyn or Charlotte win the lottery. So Indiana feels like a good bet.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's a good basketball market too. And like, yeah, like that finals that was a very good finals. I know people were very kind of upset about the Pacers making it, and like there was no juice to OKC Indiana, but like that was a good NBA finals.
Yeah, it was one of
Unfortunately,
the
it
best in a
ended
long time.
in unfortunately it ended with Tyrese Halliburton's Achilles exploding, which was not fun. But like that series in general was very good. I still think Indiana would have ended up finding a way to win that if Tyrese didn't get hurt.
I kind of do too, and that's what's like really tragic about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's just like that dude was just willing them to victories. Like it made no sense at all that they like kept winning games in the way that they were. Like, didn't he have like 3 game winners in that playoff run too?
Yeah,
So like he would have 100% hit like a full court shot one handed to win it, and probably would have been an and one as well. His dad would have gotten banned from OKC. It's just it would have been euphoric as a basketball fan to watch them win in that fashion. And now it looks like the Thunder are the new dynasty, unfortunately, which we say that about every team that wins the finals, but they're
and they have
17
the
and 1.
Clippers pick.
Yeah, and they have the Clippers pick, and the Clippers are hashtag terrible. They're 5-13. So
I kind of like OKC being a dynasty, though. I like that it's not like a traditional team, I guess, or like one of like the old franchises.
yeah, I'm just glad it's not like Miami again, because that would have made
Yeah.
me sad.
I mean, the thing is though, with the second apron, it's like, can you even really have a dynasty anymore? Because these second apron rules are dumb. And it's going to get shown off with Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City has done everything right, like from a organizational perspective. Like they have not made a mistake in the past like 3-4 years, besides the Gordon Hayward trade. Like
Yeah,
that is the
which
one
in
thing.
theory was a good move. It just
Oh, totally. It just
he
didn't
couldn't
work
hang
at
with them
all.
because he wasn't fast enough to hang with them.
Right, exactly. No, it was a good process, bad result. But it's like besides that, they've pressed every correct button over the past like 4 or 5 years, and they've accumulated picks. They got Shea in the Paul George trade. They've nailed their
Fucking
draft
Clippers,
picks
man.
with J Dub, with Holmgren, with these young guys coming off the bench. Getting Caruso for Giddey, even though like Giddey is kind of having a breakout year for the Bulls, but like he didn't really fit as like a sixth man on Oklahoma City. Getting Hartenstein, it's like everything they do turns to gold. But they're going to come up against the second apron in a few years, and they're going to have to choose between J-Dub and Holmgren because they're not going to be able to keep them both. And obviously, Shea is the guy they're totally going to keep because that's the guy who won MVP. So, like, they're going to have to trade one of those two guys, and they shouldn't have to. Like, they should totally be able to keep this thing together because they deserve to. They earned it, and it's going to be a clear sign because I think people were okay with the Celtics getting broken up by the second apron because it's the Celtics and people don't really want to see the Celtics succeed. And it was veteran players who they, traded for on the whole.
Yeah.
But like once it's going to be Oklahoma City's own homegrown guys that get like murked by the second apron, I think everyone's going to kind of wake up and realize this was a terrible idea.
Which is funny because I think CJ McCollum literally said less than a year ago that teams shouldn't get punished for great drafting. It's like, brother, we're all trying to find out who did this. Like Grant Williams also, like you're not seeing the pearly white gates, my friend, for that shit. Like what the fuck is wrong with you? What a dumbass. But yeah, I can't. It's tough. It's tough. And I think too, like even I don't know, because then it becomes a little bit unfair if you only make the exception for homegrown players and you already had the bird rights, rule where you could go over the cap to bring your own guys back. But like there needs to be I don't know how
I saw
you
something proposed that I kind of like, which is that in terms of like luxury tax stuff, a super max contract only counts as a regular max, which I'm not opposed to as a way to kind of
so like
encourage it.
you could give a guy on your team the super max contract, but as far as luxury tax hit, it only counts as if you sign them as an external free agent.
No, it would count as a regular max, not as the full super max. So whatever the max contract as a free agent they could have been offered, that's what counts against your cap and not the
But you're still
risen.
paying them you're paying them, but it's just like it's like under the table money
Yeah, and
to
it's
get
still
to
the
the
full thing.
difference.
It's just like if you're paying them, say, like 60 million on the Supermax, their luxury tax is only like the 48 or whatever other teams could have paid them. So that 12 doesn't count towards the luxury tax. And I'm open to trying it. Like if that's what we got to do to try and encourage this sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because then it doesn't incentivize guys or teams to draft well, or like not that teams are intentionally throwing picks, although it
Right.
does sometimes seem that way with some of the guys that get drafted in certain spots. Um, but like you don't want to draft too well. You then end up trading, like then you get more trades where you end up having with like Paul George with Philly. Like you don't need aging vets that really aren't going to contribute to excuse me, to a title end up on these young teams. Because like you brought it up the first episode we did, or the second episode, the one after the season opener, where you saw the tweet of the Sixers are just 40 minutes of Maxey and Edgecombe playing the greatest basketball of all time, and then however many minutes of Paul George and Joel Embiid being terrorists. Like that's kind of the NBA you're encouraging by not letting teams keep their young talent in house. Because of these penalties, or you could just eliminate the salary cap altogether, like baseball's doing, or like baseball's always had. Although now they're trying to levy one, which fucking blows.
And they've threatened to kill Bryce Harper.
They've threatened to murder a literal like face of the league. That is crazy. Could you imagine like Adam Silver going into? Although if he went into the Philly locker room and yelled at Joel Embiid, there'd probably be a contingent of NBA Twitter that'd be like, "Go ahead," like,
There would be supporters.
there'd be more supporters. I mean, we're talking the same market here. There'd be way more supporters in favor of that for Embiid than Bryce Harper. But Bryce Harper plays baseball. Joel Embiid doesn't really play basketball much anymore. Or
Yeah,
really
it'd be
never
like
did.
doing it to like Steph or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, somebody in that, like Jimmy Butler. Like there we go. There we go. Jimmy Butler is the kind of, because he's polarized. Like he's kind of a dick. So like he's polarizing enough where people would be like, "That's funny," but like most people would be like, "That's a little crazy to say to somebody that makes your league a lot of money." Like just fucking find you in a ditch somewhere. Jesus Christ! Like why? Why would you say that? Even as a joke. Like come on.
We've reached the assassination parts of the podcast.
Yeah, Jesus. What are we doing? This is what happens. This is how we get to an
it is
hour.
funny though when you said the Embiid thing, because it reminded me of like, not to just keep referencing things from Twitter feeds, but like the difference between like NFL Twitter and baseball Twitter versus NBA Twitter, where like on baseball or football Twitter, like when a player is playing bad, they'll compare them to other bad players. But on NBA Twitter, you are a terrorist or a war criminal, or like
even if you're good, you get compared to like
right.
terrorism, like the Taliban. Like his nickname literally became the Taliban last postseason
While playing in New York.
Yeah, like fucking crazy shit. NBA Twitter is not a real place, but God, is it entertaining? You know, within reason. You know, there's obviously a breaking point that it eclipses very frequently, but very funny still. It's always been fucking weird though. Like, I remember when weird Celtics Twitter was a thing, like back when like Rob Williams was rookie, when Time Lord became a nickname, and like that was kind of the genesis of weird Celtics Twitter. But then like remember for like 2 years, everyone was just talking about how big Gershon Yabusele's butt was.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
like a
that was a
real
dark time.
like we'd just be talking about Taco Fall and Ennis Cantor Freedom, not to fully dead name the man. And fucking Gershon's butt. Like that was where we
In the
were
Aaron
as
Baines shower situation.
yeah. But Tommy Heinsohn's the reason for that.
Right.
RIP to a goat. I cannot believe he thought like that. That is honestly up there with Jeff Van Gundy being like, "What can you do with a second cousin?" Like levels of unhinged on an NBA broadcast. Like the only reason that isn't as like a mainstream as the Jeff Van Gundy thing, obviously because it wasn't national, but
Right.
but Tommy Heinsohn let that rip in the preseason. Like, it's freaking September 10th against the Charlotte Hornets, and Tommy Heinsohn's like, yeah, Aaron Baines got a hammer on him. Like, what
Imagine
the hell?
how he would have reacted to Travion Henderson.
Imagine how he would have reacted to Trevor's story, apparently, because was it Tristan Casas saying that he got fired up looking at Trevor's story in the shower?
Yeah.
Yep.
The least shocking source of a quote like that, and probably in Boston sports.
Oh, totally.
Like, a little too on the nose there, Tristan, but it's fine. It's fine. He's a freak. We've learned this throughout the year that horny socks would not be the horny socks if not for Tristan Casas. Like, you think the pitcher's reactions are crazy? Like, yeah, that man's DMs.
Must be an experience.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I have no idea. I can't confirm that shit. He's not DMing me. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Yeah, if he's a listener, he might DM me if he's a listener. But
future guest
playing well.
What?
The Atlanta Hawks are playing pretty well without Trae Young. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I know that you just brought up the Hawks, but I do want to talk about another thing that's not Celtics related.
Yeah.
Y'all see what Klay Thompson said about Ja Morant?
Yeah.
He dragged his ass, man.
Oh, he's right.
Oh, he's so right. He's so unbelievably right. I want to pull the quote up or I want to pull the actual video because it is one of the maybe greatest things a basketball player has said about another basketball player. At least in recent history. Give me the whole quote, please. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Started playing it without sharing the screen. This is fantastic. A fantastic listening experience, by the way. Here we go. Share screen. Oh, and it's not playing the sound.
He has a lot to say all the time, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability. But you know what? That's for another day.
What did you have to say on this occasion?
Nothing of intelligent depth. It was really just was running his mouth, and he's been running his mouth for a long time. And money to run your mouth when you're on the bench. It's kind of the story of his career so far, just leaving us wanting more. You know, we all want to see him out there and do his best, but he's just been a lot of other stuff get in the way of that. And we need that in the NBA. We need our best players to be out there. And when you're a star, it comes with a great responsibility. And I hate to see that go to waste. And then
He's 100% right, as you said. But yeah, absolutely sunned him in that instance. And like that goes back to what we were talking about a couple of episodes ago. Like, this dude has self-sabotaged his entire NBA career, and to the point where it's really difficult to pinpoint a team that'd be willing to give him an opportunity to rehabilitate his image and his playing.
It's so crazy because I can't think of another in the NBA like example of a draft where the top two picks are both clearly so good at basketball but don't play basketball and feel like there's no like even like motivation for another team to want them, even though they're both good. And you have Zion and Ja as the top two picks, where like once again, when they're both playing, they're both all NBA caliber players. But between Zion and the conditioning and the injury problems, and Ja with bringing guns on planes and causing all this sorts of mayhem he does, it's like no team would even really want to take on these guys, even though they're both so supremely talented, Hall of Fame level talents, but they don't show it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And their teams are actually facing off right now. And ironically, the Pelicans are winning. But yeah, it's a shame to see because like Klay said, very talented dude that's like really just decided that he's like if Vic Van Leer made the NBA. not to pull make a deep cut from 2K, but like everything that MP gets told about Vic Van Leer, like they're warning him about Ja Morant. It's sad. It's sad. I hope he grows up at some point because he is a a very exciting player to watch. It's like baby Russ, except Russ actually cared about basketball. At least when you watch him play. But tragically, he does not want to play basketball. But yeah, between now and our next recording, the Celtics, as Jack mentioned earlier, have 2 games against the Timberwolves and the Cavs. That's Saturday and Sunday back to back, and then they play Tuesday against the Knicks at TD Garden. Those are your 3 games, and there's no Wednesday game to save us. It's
I'm
not
not
Wednesday.
going to call the Knicks an honorary Wednesday the way I called the Nets an honorary Wednesday. I don't feel as confident to do that.
Yeah, but 2 games on the road, and then again come back home for the Knicks on NBC. And if you want to go to the game, tickets are apparently as low as $61. So that's a maybe. Who knows? Maybe an appearance will be made. It's Tuesday at 8 p.m. Maybe not. I'll be in bed, but yeah. Like I said, they're 10-8 right now. What's their record when we reconvene next Wednesday? Jack, I'll throw it to you.
10-8 right now. I mean, I want to be optimistic, but like my gut is saying 11 and what, 11 and 10? Yeah, that's how math works.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know which game they're winning. I don't know. It's like I don't like playing a back-to-back against good teams. That freaks me out. I wish there was a soft game in there in a back-to-back. And I know Minnesota's coming off a loss to Sacramento, and obviously Sacramento is a bad team. But I don't know. I mean, I fear Ant, and Ant will be the best player on the court in that game. And then you go to Cleveland, who I know Garland, you don't really know if Darius Garland is going to play basketball ever. Same with DeAndre Hunter at this point, but you do know Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell. And I know Evan Mobley is getting slandered a lot on NBA Twitter because it's NBA Twitter. He's still a really good player. I know
Not a terrorist?
Yeah, I would not call him a terrorist. I know people are really calling him like Mr. 18 and 8 and all that. And it's like 18
That's so
and 8.
Shaq-pilled.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, if you're scoring 18 and 8 while playing elite defense, you're still like one of the 20 best basketball players alive, probably. But unfortunately, people don't want to look at it like that.
He doesn't have good mixtape highlights. So
yeah,
he's
exactly.
boring,
it's
and
like,
people hate that. It's boring.
Yeah. Not that he's remotely as good as Tim Duncan, but it's kind of the Tim Duncan issue where like Tim Duncan is a top 5 player in basketball history, but doesn't get called that because he wasn't sexy. But it's like, if you stack up everything, Tim Duncan's a top 5 player in NBA history. He won championships in 3 decades, is the best player every time. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, and then you get the Knicks at home, and I know the Knicks are weird at the moment. They're kind of a win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game kind of team. I don't know how many games they have between us and them, and that could really determine it. I'll say they lose both halves of the back-to-back, but they're both close, and then they beat the Knicks at TD.
Worth mentioning that the Timberwolves are down 10 at halftime right now to the Thunder and have lost back-to-back games, not just to the bad Kings team, but they also lost a 1-point game to Phoenix, who is also terrible. So
Phoenix is kind of good now, though. They're not really like they're fake good, but they're somehow like
they're 10-6. No, they're 11-7.
Yeah,
that's stupid. I hate that. I mean, I don't hate that, but why is Dylan Brooks averaging 22 a game?
No, that's the thing. It's like I don't think like compared to like when we talked about the Raptors earlier, I think it's completely believable that the Raptors finished the top 6 team in the Eastern Conference with the heater they're on. I do not buy that the Phoenix Suns are going to make even the top 8 seeds in the Western Conference. This feels fake, and it will not last. However, shout out Devin Booker, because he's a great player, and another guy who gets yelled at a lot on NBA Twitter, but he is a great player.
Jesus Christ, the freaking Dylan Brooks averaging 22 a game. That he is in heaven over there in Phoenix because he can just let it rip, and be an asshole, which are two things that Dylan Brooks loves to do.
The fact that they have Dylan Brooks and Grayson Allen on the same team, like,
you want to talk about terrorism?
Grayson Allen.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me on the terrorism topic. Remember the Al Qaeda lineups?
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a nice callback. Anyway, back to these 3 games at hand. Jamie, what's their record going to be when we come back next week?
I agree with Jack. I feel like they go 1-2 and they're 11-10. I feel like they beat Minnesota. I don't like the Cleveland game with that being back to back on the road, and I don't think they beat the Knicks. But I think the Knicks game will be close. But I think they're going to go 1-2 in that stretch.
Ooh, allow me to be the optimist. I love to see this. I got them going 2-1. I think they beat the Timberwolves, and I think they beat the Knicks. I think this is the kind of game against the Pistons where you can kind of see them start to believe in themselves a little bit. Like, there's got to be some doubt in their brains entering the season, even not necessarily Jalen's, because there's nobody on the planet that thinks higher of Jaylen Brown than Jaylen Brown does. And I'm not saying that in like a derogatory way. Like, it's a good thing for your star player to have. Like, you want him to be kind of arrogant about his ability. But there's got to be some uncertainty, especially when you don't have, like, your own fan base is wanting you to tank. And then you're like, oh, are we really that bad? And then you lose, the fashion in which they lost to the Sixers on opening night. Then they lose 3 straight. And then I think they started 3-5. And it's like, there's got to be some doubt that creeps in, but they're 7-3 in their last 10. So, like, the signs are there that they're a pretty good basketball team. And I think in order to really prove that to themselves, they got to go out there and, rattle off some impressive wins against some good opponents. And each of these 3 games are against good opponents. I just don't think you win with travel included the second night of a back-to-back. Like, you have to go, I mean, Minnesota to Cleveland. It's not like you're going from the West Coast to the East Coast, but you still have to travel and then play the next night. You're obviously still down the best player on your team. And that's just not a recipe for success. And if they do take both of those games, then they're going to get slaughtered by the Knicks, because that's the ultimate letdown after winning those 2 back-to-back games. But I do think they win 2 of these 3. And in my opinion, it'll be Minnesota. Then they get boat raced by Cleveland, and then they beat the Knicks by like 5.
I feel like it'll be a good test, though. I feel like that's a good test of 3 games against 3 good teams.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a good measuring stick for a team it feels weird calling them young because their best players are still not young. Like, Derrick White's over 30. Jaylen Brown's 28. So it's not like they're babies, but they're very experienced together. But so they'll at least still be over 500 when we record again. That's nice. That's nice.
So they play Thursday or Friday. Can we add that as like an honorary Wednesday game if it's a favorable?
No, they play Saturday. They play Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. So we don't get any.
Yeah, but that next Thursday in Washington, that could be a Wednesday.
Ooh, that's true. We can pretend.
Support it.
I'm down to pretend. If they win, though. If they lose, then it was Thursday.
Yeah.
Bro. We have to delete this like
Thursday in Washington, D.C. That feels like a Wednesday if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, the days are all messed up with the government being shut down for.
Yeah, they were delayed a day.
They have no fucking clue what day it is down there. It could be Wednesday. Who knows? Maybe we're not living in reality. Maybe it is. Maybe it is a Wednesday. Who knows? Anyway, last little thing before we wrap this up. Best Thanksgiving side. Just put you guys on the spot here.
I'm very stuffing pilled.
Yeah, I'd say stuffing. Because, like, I will go that back for, like, 4 serving of stuffing. Even if it's just stuffing, like, I could eat stuffing for days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you guys there, but, like, do you guys just have straight stuffing, or do you have, like, gravy mixed into it? Because, like, I think stuffing with gravy is fucking
Oh, I do gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta put gravy on it. People who just eat stuffing, they scare me a little bit. Well, that's dry as hell. And
Yeah,
like,
you gotta drizzle that gravy right on the stuffing and the mashed potatoes right next to each other because they share a border. And
keep
Do you
it
guys
keep it
put
BC.
stuffing? Do you put it on a turkey sandwich? Do you guys do like a little turkey sandwich with stuffing on the top, then with the gravy situation?
That's a Friday
Yeah.
Friday task for me, but yes, that is
Yeah.
definitely a move I make. Now I'm ready for Thanksgiving dinner. And it is 9 p.m. on Wednesday. I should have known that this was a bad idea to bring that up, but alas, I am not intelligent. So
Well, since we're on it, like, what's everyone's pie choice? If we're rocked with one pie, let's just get it all
shit.
out of the way right now.
Well, yeah, good point. Ugh.
I mean, it's
Am
kind of
I-
basic, but I'm an apple pie person. I like an apple pie.
Apple pie's grown on me. I wasn't a big pie person for the longest time, and then now I've grown up. So I think I'm with you there on the apple pie. Although good blueberry, like a good, my grandmother used to make like mixed berry pie, like
Mhm.
blueberry and raspberry. That was
That sounds
really good. That was some really good eats. What about you, Jamie?
Probably like pumpkin, or sometimes my parents will make a chocolate pudding, and I'll just go to town on that.
Yeah, chocolate pie is always a it's a safe one. I love a good chocolate pie.
See, I'm
Now,
just not a
okay,
big chocolate person in general.
that's tragic. Like how do you live?
I get by.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, if I guess last Thanksgiving question here, because now we're just glued to this topic. Like I see a
Picking
lot of
every game with the spread.
yeah. I see a lot of turkey slander. What are your guys' thoughts on turkey? Like I know a lot of people go to ham, but I feel like ham is even drier than turkey.
I agree with that. No,
Like what? Like if you're like, oh, turkey's so dry, I'd rather have ham. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That is what?
yeah.
Yeah, I do not support that take. I feel like too, if it's Thanksgiving, like, it's literally the main part of the holiday. I feel like
Yeah, and I know the vice president today went very anti-turkey. I don't know if either of you guys saw that, but he was sharing anti-turkey propaganda and how chicken is better.
I don't disagree that chicken's better, but it's Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah.
And but no, I'm generally pro turkey. I like some turkey.
Yeah, this is
Wait,
not
what-
an NS Freedom podcast. We are pro turkey here at the Hourback Report.
What were his comments on the? What was his propaganda?
He was he was basically saying like he's gonna be air frying a turkey, and if you need to air fry something to taste good, then like it's not actually good. He's like, you don't make turkey any other day of the year except Thanksgiving. So like if it was any good, you'd make it on a different day. And like the logic really wasn't tracking.
I've made turkey several times in 2025, so I don't know what Vice President JD Vance is on. Maybe it's the couch. I don't know.
But if you're listening and you'd like to discuss, our DMs are open.
Leave the comments on our Twitter page.
On our
The
Twitter
link.
page, yeah, at Hourback Report. Leave a review on Spotify or the YouTube channel. Yeah, whatever. I'm starting to get unhinged, so this should probably wrap up before I go back to my old ways and say 3 cancelable things before in like the last few minutes before we hit the outro. But yeah, no, I hope you
Mammoths
gen
tip off in 18 minutes.
they do. Should we stay on and record throughout the entire game?
Who they got?
We do one live stream the
Oh,
entire season, and it's just us doing a live stream to a Utah Mammoth game. It's not even Celtics related at all.
They're facing off against my classmate Lane Hudson. So we'll see how that goes for them.
I mean, how can they say no to a guest appearance if we like they
We
can't
stream
say
a game.
no?
Yeah. We do a live stream when they're doing when they have a road game on the East Coast, so we can be mindful of our own bedtimes, and then we'll have Tusky on. That's the perfect way to do that.
I will not name names for the sake of not naming names because this player has been drafted into the NHL. But a a BU Terrier hockey player does keep like daily going on the TikTok of the girl I'm currently seeing, and she finds it hilarious that he is like checking her profile daily, and the bro is deviously down bad.
That right there was the best thing I've heard all day. That's what I needed.
That's fucking crazy. That is crazy. Love that. Love that. What's that do to your ego? I'm curious. As somebody who's never experienced, actually, no, I shouldn't say I've never experienced that. Not that specifically, but something similar. But like, what's that do to your ego? Like, wow, this NHL player is like,
Yeah.
what's that do?
No, it feels good to know that someone who is probably going to be a millionaire is losing to me in a head-to-head competition. Feels great.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the one that I had was I was watching an Eduardo Rodriguez Twitch stream back in the day, like back before players got in trouble for saying slurs on the internet, because Erod. Anyway, that's not what, the person I'm talking about here, but he was playing COD, or no, he's playing Fortnite with JD Martinez, and the girl I was dating at the time, he like hit on when she was in the comments, and yeah, that that actually really pissed me off. But that's because I felt like there was a non-zero chance I'd lose her to JD Martinez. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let's wrap this up. Jamie, you got a story like that actually before any
Oh, sadly, I wish I did, but I haven't been that lucky yet. But there's still time.
There is time. We're all young. We're all young. I don't feel it. I'm ready for bed. It's 9:15. But good. Thank you for sharing that. Anyway, yeah, so that'll do it for this edition of the Hour Back Report. Again, thanks to everybody for listening, and to you gentlemen. I hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Eat the turkey. Don't eat chicken. Don't eat ham, because what the fuck is wrong with you if you're preferring ham to turkey on Thanksgiving? We will all be enjoying stuffing with gravy on it, and we will be having our Thanksgiving sandwiches on Friday. But yeah, that'll do it for the Hour Back Report. I'm Jordan for Jamie and Jack. Until next time, peace out and go see.
We did it.